Now, the next question is, what if someone fails? Okay, what if I fail? I give PLAB two and then I do not make it in first attempt. What is it that I should be doing next?
Okay. If someone fails PLAB 1 or PLAB 2, I think they'll have 4 attempts to clear PLAB 1 or PLAB 2. 4 attempts for PLAB 1 and 4 attempts for PLAB 2. But however, I'll have to check it online. According to me, it's four
Four
attempts.
attempts. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
it's always good to pass in the first attempt because, as I said, getting a slot on the second attempt is very difficult.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's very difficult. So the thing is, it's good too, but if you don't, just keep working in your home country. That's the best option. uh, Keep working and keep studying, and then give the exam as soon as you can. And also, it's good time to prepare for membership exams, Royal College membership exams. And it's good time to build portfolio, so that once you pass your exam and get the GMC registration, you can straight away start applying for jobs and then
So,
get a job. Yeah.
okay. A lot of people talk about portfolio. Is it just like our CV? Is portfolio same as the CV, or is it like a logbook? There's always confusion as to what exactly is the portfolio.
No, it's essentially the CV, but the thing is, there are few things which they score you on. For example, there are audits, there is research, there's teaching, there's leadership and management, there are IT skills, and things like that. There are very various criterias to fulfill, and you'll be scored against each one of them. There's something called as person specifications for each and every job that you apply in the UK, be it non-training jobs, be it foundation jobs, or be it training jobs or specialty training jobs. There's something called as person specifications. So there is essential criteria and there are desirable criteria. So it's basically a tick box exercise.
Uh-huh.
So and so you have to do, so and so you have to do. That's it. Yeah,
Okay. So at the end of it, you'll get
it's
so many
like that.
points, and okay,
So many points. Yeah.
that's how the portfolio
And then
goes.
that's how you get your job, and that's how you will be shortlisted for an interview.
Okay. Okay. If your portfolio is better than the other person, so you get an upper hand in getting the job or the basically training or non-training job, whatever it is. Okay. So I think we'll take up the
Yes.
portfolio topic for another video because it is, I think, very big topic in itself and how to really
It's a
build up.
huge topic in
True,
itself.
true that. Yeah, how
Yeah.
to build your portfolio, what are the components of it. So let's see that sometime else. And okay, now let's talk about what are clinical attachments and are they necessary? Are they like absolutely necessary? I get asked this question so many times. So just enlighten us regarding with these.
Clinical attachments are basically like a short internship kind of thing where you go to the UK, you shadow consultants, you shadow junior doctors for 4 to 6 weeks time. Some of them do extend up till 6 months, but I would say a good time period will be 4 to 6 weeks. uh, uh, it's not essential that you do a clinical attachment. Most of the doctors, PLAB doctors, they don't do clinical attachment and still they'll be getting jobs. They still enter the system. But if you do a clinical attachment, you'll definitely have an upper hand because you already know the system. You're acquainted with the system already. So, and also you'll get to know the consultants, you'll get recommendations, and that would be a gateway to uh, get or land a job in the UK, your first job in the UK. Clinical attachments definitely help. No one can deny the fact that they help in getting your first job in the UK.
Okay.
So
And
nowadays there is a lot of stress on getting clinical attachments. It's not absolutely necessary, but it is important to get into the system.
so it's like the cream on top of the cake, you mean? You have it, it's
Definitely.
it's easier. Okay.
Yes.
Then you yourself have done two clinical attachments. Tell us more about it. What was your experience like, and where did you work, and how was it?
I did two clinical attachments. Both of them were in obstetrics and gynecology. Both of them were for 4 weeks. The first one I did in University Hospitals Birmingham Trust. That was in Heartlands Hospital, Birmingham. And the second one I did in Basingstoke. Basingstoke in North Hampshire Hospital. Um, the thing is, I did both of them in Ops and Gynae because I like Ops and Gynae, and I've decided that I'll pursue my training in Ops and Gynae. So it was a fantastic experience. I got to know how NHS works, how Ops and Gynae department works, and what is expected, what are the roles and responsibilities of a junior doctor. And I got to know mainly the most important thing is the communication skills that you pick up and the interpersonal skills that you pick up, which most of the Indian doctors or doctors lack, or international medical graduates lack. So
Okay.
that is one important thing. I also learned the IT system there, the softwares that they use in the hospitals, and made good friends as well. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole experience. And if at all there's a job opening in those hospitals, obviously I would be having an
Yeah,
upper hand when I'm
they will prefer
applying
you over
there.
someone
So
else. True.
yeah, basically contacts. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then, how do we actually apply for this clinical attachments?
There's no official way, or there's no one streamlined application process to apply for clinical attachments. You'll have to find the email addresses or email IDs of consultants, and then you'll have to mail them personally requesting them to supervise you in an observership role. So if they agree and the trust agrees and the HR agrees, you're good to go.
So,
So
how
it's
did you
basically you need
procure the
to,
email addresses of these many people? Like, how many people did you apply to?
well, I applied, I contacted more than 200 consultants all over the
Oh my God.
UK,
You're kidding me.
and two
200.
of them agreed to supervise me.
Okay,
Well,
okay. Just look at the ratio, guys.
the thing
200,
is,
and then only two of
yeah,
them end up accepting. Oh my God.
two, two
Yeah.
of them. And partly it was difficult because of the COVID situation as well.
Mm.
Not all trusts agreed to supervise or take in clinical attaches because of the COVID situation. Maybe it will be different in the coming days when the COVID thing settles down, and there'll be more opportunities and it will be much easier
Okay.
to get into clinical attachments.
So, yeah, one more
Yeah.
interesting question. How did you procure the email addresses of consultants?
Email addresses, number one is like from friends who are already there in the UK. They suggested, they talked to the consultants who they are working under, and they sent me the email IDs. Or number two, second option is in the job adverts, whenever they advertise a job, whenever there's a vacancy, there'll be a contact address in the job application. That is one. Number three is you can contact the HR of the hospital and they will give you the email IDs. So
That
these
seems
three are
like
the
a lot
options
of
which I
job,
used.
actually, trying to collect
It's a
the.
lot of work. Yeah, I know. It's a lot of work, and there are a lot of rejections. Out of the 200, I would say around 80 to 90 consultants replied. They
Okay,
even
okay.
they saw the email ID and they replied.
Hmm.
And in those, I would say around 10 to 20 agreed to supervise me, actually agreed to supervise me. And in that, it got filtered down to only two, because either the clinical director was not happy to take me in, or the HR was not ready, or the trust did not agree to take in clinical attaches. Everything worked out with only two of them.
That sounds amazing. Uh, really nice. It's just a lot of effort. Okay, just you should see the amount of work that has to be put in before you get out the result. And that's what we must never be afraid of doing. Just sending emails to probably 2 3 and saying, oh, I didn't get it, I'm not doing it, you shouldn't be disheartened. I think this is a very important message. And okay, what were the documents required to apply for clinical attachments? What all do you need to submit to the HR
The
or
thing
the
is, it
trust?
depends. It depends from person to person and depends from trust to trust. Few trusts require DBS clearance, few require occupational health clearance, few require other health blood test results. But in general, you would require all the basic documents like the MBBS certificate and the internship completion certificate, and there'll be an application form. Either it will be an online application form or they'll mail you an application form which you have to take print out of, fill it in, and then send it back. And there will be DBS clearance, which is basically criminal check clearance or police
Okay.
clearance certificate from the home country. And the occupational health clearance, either there'll be designated health centers in your home country where you can get the test results done and then send it to the HR, or you can go there. If you are in the UK, you can go to the trust and then they'll do the blood tests for you. So these
Okay.
are the important steps in procuring a clinical attachment.
Okay, that sounds cool. And so, what's your next plan now? Well, now that you've cleared all of this.
Everything is done. Like I'm applying for jobs now. I'm applying for junior doctor jobs. So as soon as I get a job, I'll be moving to the UK. And
Amazing.
my plan is to work in a non-training job or a trust grade job for at least a year before I apply for specialty training in obs and gynae. Hopefully next year.
Yay, I'm so happy for you. Uh, and now, could you just sum up whatever we have discussed and just tell your tips and tricks to our young doctors and our fellow Synapse followers as to how to really go through the PLAB? Can you just like sum it down from your personal experience to a few words?
Sure, yeah. So basically, plan well ahead in time, read through all the blogs, all the online material which is there, watch all the videos on YouTube, watch all the videos on Instagram, and make a plan for yourself. Not, none of us have similar journeys. Each one of us have a different journey. No two individuals, no two doctors will have like not even like remotely similar journeys. So you'll have to like just go through each and every step. You will have to take a day at a time, plan well ahead in time, get all your documents ready, read through all the guidelines, all the rules, and all the resources available, then plan accordingly. Summing it up, English language exam in your internship, give PLAB 1 and PLAB 2 as soon as you're possible, and then apply for GM's registration. Meanwhile, in this process, build your portfolio, apply for junior doctor jobs. You'll have to get a junior doctor job in like 5 to 6 months' time after getting your James registration, and then get your crest form signed, and then apply for specialty training, and then 6 to 7 years after that to become a consultant in the UK.
Oh my
So
God. So
this is the
here you have
summary.
it, the distilled
And don't,
version of whatever we have spoken so far. Yeah,
yeah. So the thing is, you should not compare your journey to anyone else.
most
Each one
important.
of us have a different journey, and we will uh, f- face hurdles in between. There will be failures in between. So no matter what, you'll have to like keep going. You'll have to hustle hard throughout the journey. So
Yes.
there are times when you miss your family when you're in the UK. You'll be homesick. Yeah, you will see failures. You can fail PLAB 1, you can fail PLAB 2. You might not get the first job in the UK very soon. It might take time. You might not get a clinical attachment, or your portfolio or your CV might not be really good. But the thing is, the main aim is to just keep going, put in your 100%, plan well ahead in time, everything else will sort out on its own. Yeah. So just keep moving forward.
Yeah,
That's
keep
it.
hustling. Yeah. And I think
Yes.
the key point from the whole of the talk, I feel, is the most important thing is the planning. So you got to plan your journey well ahead. Okay, know when to clear what, have your timelines, written down in your diary. And I think it's just going on, achieving the goals that you've set for yourself. And planning is the most important. So,
Yes. And
yeah,
then also one more important thing is go get it attitude is very important in the UK. Whatever it is, you just need to keep sending emails. You need to go to that person and talk. You need to make millions of calls, and you should not stop until you get what you want.
want.
So, as I said, I had to send more than 200 emails to get one clinical attachment. So, yeah, and also, even when you go to the clinical attachment, you are the least of their problems. There
Agree.
are so many
Yeah,
things the consultants are worried about. There's so much work to do, and you're just one person lying there, standing there, shadowing them throughout the day. They don't care.
yeah,
You have to show your interest, you have to show the commitment, and you have to, be proactive throughout the journey to get what you want. No one, nothing is served on a silver plate or a golden plate for that matter. You have to see, you have to be proactive, you have to show the interest. Just the go get it attitude is very important throughout the journey. If you are shy, or if you are, if you are laid back, nothing will go according to plan. So
yeah.
you have to be very committed to the path you have chosen to. There's
Very
no looking
important.
back once you have already started. Yeah, there will be times when you question yourself. There will be times when people around you question your decisions.
Yeah, very important.
But no matter what, you have to just keep going.
Going. Yeah. Okay, that has been a great session with you, Sadesh. And um, uh, you were saying, I'm giving the same information that is there on the probably the GMC website or any other YouTube video for that matter. But the soul that you put into it, your personal experience, the hard work that you have done, and I think all of that really makes this information, this video more informative and. Apart from the information, it's also the inspiration and the motivation that the young doctors will be getting today. So I'm so glad that you you know were able to make this video possible. Thank you very much, and I
My
wish
pleasure.
and the whole of Synapse team wishes you all the very best. So hope you get your job soon and you'll land up in the UK. And let's see when we can collaborate again. It was
Sure,
really
yeah.
nice
Uh,
talking to you.
Also, the thing is, what I have spoken throughout the video is just a glimpse. It's just a gist or summary of the whole process. There's a lot of nuances that are to be understood. There are minor details which are very important. The thing is, not every detail can be spoken in this short video.
Correct.
So I would recommend that to get updated information, that doctors would go to GMC website and the two blogs which I have mentioned, to go through them thoroughly. Also, I have plans of documenting my journey in an Instagram account. Hopefully, that would be possible very soon
True.
in collaboration with Synapse too. And
That's
then
amazing.
any doubts or any clarifications, or you want any other information, specific details, please put all your questions in the comment section below. And then
Definitely.
we'll be checking it regularly, and I'll be more than happy to answer all those questions.
Definitely.
Also, if you don't want to put it out publicly, in public in the comment section, you can always mail your question to Sonika, and she
Definitely.
can
The
forward those mails to me, and I'd be happy to give personal advice as well regarding the flap journey.
definitely, definitely. So guys, don't
Also,
forget to, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Sorry, and also if you want any tips and tricks regarding the obstetrics and gynecology pathway, specialty training pathway, how to build your portfolio specifically towards obs and gynae, I would be happy to help and guide doctors in
Okay.
that regard too.
So
So
guys, don't forget to mention your doubts or your queries or whatever you want to ask, no matter how silly. Just mention in this comment section below. We will definitely get back to it, and Sandesh will himself provide you the answers. And if you guys, many of them, if you guys are interested to take up, OBG as a specialty, and you are going to, if you're planning to go to the UK, then definitely let us know. We'll come up with another video wherein we'll mention, or we'll see how exactly to build your portfolio, tailor made to any obs and gyn job or training that you want to take up in the UK. So I hope you guys found this video useful, and definitely subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share. We'll come back soon with more such videos. Thank you. Thank you, Sudesh.
thank you.